Might need to redo that opener.
Yeah, as if few horses who are no longer getting spoken about as winners by the race callers there, Darren Flindell. And his name's escaped me. Matty Hill. I was going to say Matt Smith.
Matty Smith, one of the great trainers of all time.
Sunday morning. Yeah, he's a good trainer, Matt Smith. So Nature Strip, he clings on in that race. He's barely clinging on to his title as Australia's best sprinter. He's an old fella. That's fine. It's just a changing of the guard. I'm Thunderstruck, doesn't know how to win. Fireburn, terrific 2-year-old, not so much as a 3-year-old. Home Affairs is retired to start. Who else is in there? Marzu. He's still a good boy.
I don't think he's won a race since.
The Dooma 10,000, no, he hasn't. But just still cash and checks.
He is. Well, he won that bonus last year.
Yeah.
You know what I found about yesterday? So after a miserable's too harsh of a word, but it was a character defining day yesterday because one I was very, very, very keen on in the slipper gets scratched on the morning. And then, does he win? Probably not, but I just want to run for my money.
You want to run for your money, mate.
And then I go from seeing our boys, our Lions, being ahead by 20-odd during the second quarter, and then they get dusted by 50. Tough afternoon at the office. But after that, put all that to the side because, I'm able to do that. So the punt
it's good, mate.
The punt wasn't too good. I knew the Lions were going to get dusted. So I went to dinner with the Dahl.
Yep.
Went to dinner with Prue. Had a sensational feed. Thai. Some of the best Massaman curry I've ever had.
I love all Thai food. All of it.
Yeah.
But Massaman sometimes just is exactly what you need.
Well, a significant portion I can't eat because I'm allergic to shellfish. But the portions I can eat, it was great. But Prue went wedding dress shopping yesterday, and she found the dress.
Oh.
Now, this was a revelation to me. Apparently, the dress shops ask you, do you say yes to the dress? And then you have to say yes.
I didn't know that. So that's the revelation to me right now. I've seen, I'm just going to be real brutal right now. Basic bitches posting on Instagram when they've bought their wedding dress, and they obviously don't want to show the dress on the gram because, they don't want to spoil the party, so to speak. But they'll have like one of those little shitty chalkboards with really lovely cursive writing saying, yes. I said yes to the dress. Like with their shit mum or something, like get over yourself.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's exciting for Prue though.
It is.
She said yes.
Not exciting for our bank account, but that's all right. I have another revelation that I need someone to actually confirm with us. Now, he's on his own baby moon. So this is something that hopefully he picks up.
Yeah, mate.
Hey, mate, you got me and Declan. We just need your thoughts for 30 seconds. You're on the podcast.
Mate, go wild. I'm about to tee off. You got 30 seconds.
All right. Do you know what push presents are?
What was that?
Do you know what push presents are? It's
I do know what push presents are, and I do not think they're a great idea.
So, have you got one for your beautiful partner, Shani?
No, because she's got she's got heaps, mate. She's got way too much as it is.
What are you boys talking about? What's a push present?
A push present is essentially they're saying it's your fault for getting them pregnant, and you have to purchase them a present to cheer them up. To say sorry.
It takes two to tango. Are you
Mate,
kidding
that
me?
is exactly what I said. It takes two to tango, Dale.
All right. Thank you, Bradley. Play well. See you
Mate, cheers,
later.
boys.
See you, big balls.
Appreciate it. Bye.
All right. Push presents are a thing.
Look, there's things I'm learning as I get older and older, and it's about the human race in general. That I feel like in these modern times we just like to make an excuse to celebrate anything and everything.
I have another one for you.
Oh, I'm about to die on this Sunday. Go on.
So you have the engagement ring, yes?
Yeah.
Then you have the wedding rings, which, you get one yourself.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
I've already purchased one.
Yeah, well, I'd hope so.
Yeah, but true, yeah.
Because your wedding is very much in the countdown.
Imminent.
Did you know there was a such thing as an eternity ring?
I did know that.
That was a
did.
revelation that I found out about last night.
Yeah, so is it the first year anniversary is your eternity ring?
So this is the thing, right? So a friend of ours, well, a friend of mine really, you don't really, you would have met him before, James Rose, he used to work at Channel 7, for Doom and 10,000 Day last year, we were lucky enough to sneak our way into the Channel 7.
Mate, we don't sneak, mate. We don't sneak in our own city. We waltzed on in. I think I strutted in.
Yeah.
It's my God-given right to drink free piss, mate.
That's true. But James celebrated his 1 year anniversary with his lovely wife, Kate. And he posted on his Instagram stories, she nailed the brief of 1 year anniversary, which is usually paper. And she got him a best bets.
Oh, perfection.
Perfect. But yes, I was discussing this with Prue last night. And she's like, yes, it's typically a thing where an eternity ring is the first year wedding anniversary. I'm like, so what's paper done wrong?
Well, you could argue that paper's destroying the planet from an environmental perspective if you're a massive victim. But, mate, look, yeah, that's my point exactly. There's gender reveals and baby showers and, your engagement parties, and then you have the pre-wedding party, and then you have the wedding, and then you have it's just, I don't know.
I love a celebration as much as the next guy.
But isn't just cheering home a horse that's just won you a bit of quid reason enough to celebrate in your life?
Well, yeah, if you find one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was what we were discussing over dinner last night.
So she's happy with her dress, obviously. She said yes to the dress.
She said yes to the dress, so she's stoked.
Was it just within Brisbane that she was shopping, or did she venture outside of Brisbane to shop?
2 different shops in Brisbane.
So this is very unusual, apparently, but G went down to a place called Grace Loves Lace. I'll let you have one guess. What do you think the wedding dresses are made of down there?
Lace. And Grace.
With Grace makes her lace dresses with grace. So she was looking online before she went down. I don't know what the wedding dress looks like, mind you.
I think that's a fair thing.
Which is standard.
Yeah.
She was looking online and she ventured down there to Burleigh where the shop is. Tried the dress on that she looked at online, was like, yep, that'll do.
1 from 1?
1 from 1.
Wow. Hell of a strike rate. No,
Kobe, 100% strike rate.
Prue showed me a few.
That she didn't go with?
Okay.
Okay.
One of which made her look like a mermaid.
That's pretty cool.
It was, she pretty much laughed when she showed me it, so I had pretty much free reign to go like, nah, that ain't it.
Yeah, let me take that social cue
Yeah.
as an opportunity for me to say, nah, that one's shit.
All right, bit to get through here. So 5 Group 1s plus the All-Star Mile. Let's get the All-Star Mile out of the way. Congratulations to you. You were 100% right about Mr. Brightside. Third prep at this top level.
Yeah.
I think he's very much furnished into that weight for age miler. that, we're screaming out for. I think it's accurate to say.
Yeah, he was great.
He was
He
fantastic.
put on the nos. I think a bit of early pressure. The blood, tough as anything. Like, he was going super quick. And there's just a bit too much pressure up front. I think the blood he does like to dominate the race. And if he can't, he's happy to take one sit off, maybe, be second leading.
Yeah.
He's still good, though, the blood.
He was great. I think the drifter of the week actually nailed it. In a high-pressure contest over the mile, I think he gets found out. I think he's elite at that 1,400 metres. At the mile, probably sees him out if it is run at a mental pace that it was. But of those on-pace runners, he was the one still kicking.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So he's run a sensational race.
When you see a horse like Cascadian storm home and run second, you know that the early parts of the race have been quick.
Absolutely. So out of the race, there's a few things that I learnt. That first point about alligator blood, high pressure. If it's a sit and sprint at the mile, even out to 1,800, he's proven he can get the job done.
100%.
At the mile, you just want the best milers. When
it's a specialist distance, mate.
I'm spewing that I overlooked that. I had Mr. Brightside in my strategy, but only to basically make a very small profit. Cascadian, as you mentioned, he was probably like on form the second best miler in that race. Him and probably Alligator Blood, but different circumstances. The Inevitable was fantastic.
Yeah, he was unreal. Little pocket rocket from Tassie.
I voted in the race. He was my vote.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so good to see him run well. I'm thunderstruck. So it's come out of the race. Now, Brad has a theory about this stable. There's always something wrong when they don't run well in big races.
Yeah. There's a running theme. Jacquino on the Aussie Guineas was a perfect example.
Anavisto, but she actually had a bruised heel.
Oh, my girl.
But he's had heat exhaustion.
It was pretty hot down in Melbourne.
It was very, very hot. And I think what we've learnt about him is that he needs further. Mate, he blended into the race like he was going to win the damn thing with about 300 from home, and then he just died in the arse.
He died in the arse, yeah.
So he didn't appreciate the sauna that was Melbourne weather, but also he wasn't going good enough.
I have a bit of a theory about him too, that he likes a soft track.
Yes.
Thunder. Yeah. I haven't read through his form and to have any evidence to back up what I just said. But I'm just thinking about this prep and thinking about a few other decks he's been on that were wet where he ran really well. The Cox Plate was on a softer deck, soft 6,
Soft
maybe?
5, soft 6 maybe.
Yeah, and super. Yeah, okay. No. I'd struggle to back him from now on. Oh, not that I've backed him the last couple runs, but yeah, I'd struggle to.
Yeah, I agree. He's not heading to the Australia Cup either. So that race is wide open next week. Probably, I don't know, you probably have Cascadian going there with the likes of like Nonconformist. So interesting race.
Steinem maybe?
Steinem, yep. I reckon they picked the wrong race with Gold Trip.
They did. They did. It was nothing was beating Dubai Honour.
No.
That was incredible.
Unbelievable. Before we just get onto that race really quick, the Inevitable ran the 7th fastest last 200 of the meeting. So he has sustained that run right to the end, and that race, so if you go on racing.com and look at their sectionals data, they have like either a little red figure or a little green figure.
Yeah.
That was 15 lengths quicker than the standard over the mile. So they have gone absolute nuts pace there. And then the Inevitable to do that at the end of 1,600, really sensational run. Credit to all connections and trainers there. So
100%. Well, I think I know he's obviously come up here. Yeah. He's crossed the Tasman before, but they should keep doing it. He's a fair horse.
Yeah, absolutely. Rosehill Guineas, so...
Hutch. I was so keen on Pericles. I whacked him. Responsibly. Devastated. It's not a good start to my day.
I had the sabre on Linderburn, but I wasn't happy about it. Like,
it was well found by you, man. It was 2-horse race.
And in reflection, could have just had the whole hungy on the Quinella.
That would have been juicy.
Yeah.
Well, what was the Quincy?
It was only about 7s.
Oh, but 100 on that. Shit.
Yeah. So, he looked gone at the 200 too.
He did. I was like, yeah, Pericles will win by half a length here. But he didn't. Oh, it was dirty. I think he had a bit of a think about it, Pericles. He was playing up a little bit before the race too.
Yeah. And as you rightfully pointed out, you can't geld him twice.
You can't geld him twice.
But I think he does have a bit of a think about it. Linderman is just extremely professional, but I don't think he'll win another race at 2,000 metres.
No, Hot Nash needed every ounce of his temperature to get him over the line.
Does another jockey get that over the line?
Oh, yeah, but you elite jockeys.
Yeah.
Like your J-Max maybe, but Nash just he squeezes blood out of a stone. He's so good, Hot Nash. That's his first Group 1 win since Think It Over, I'm pretty sure, in the Queen Elizabeth.
There you go.
Well, he has to earn him, Nashy.
He's probably been out for half of the meetings.
Yeah, that is true. A full packet of smokes.
What do Montefilia, Hinged, and Mwanga all have in common?
Lost Animo.
Nah, they're non-winners. They kept proving that.
Oh, mate, firstly, nothing was beating Dubai Honour in that race. During the week on the podcast, because I was a bit unsure about the race, I was like, yeah, Mwanga or Montefilia for me. I'll chuck Mwanga on top based on his last run. But I switched to Montefilia on game day because I was like, no, I've decided that Mwanga is just a nonny.
Yeah.
And then I looked at Montefilia's profile. They've ran basically the same amount of times, and Montefilia's only got one more win than Mwanga, so she's a nonny too. What was I thinking? I thought she ran well, Montefilia, and if you take Dubai on out of the race, and she wins. But
yeah,
he was a luck truck.
He really was. So he had form that the rest of these only could dream of, basically. And William Haggis, his favourite pastime is coming over here and pilfering our Group 1s.
Yeah.
$5. How did we miss that?
Oh, I don't know.
How did we miss it?
It happens every time. I look at the foreign horses, I'm like, oh, no, I just watch you go round. It's like, they're not here to go round, Declan. They're here to win. Like, fresh off the plane, they just go super well. And then sometimes they can, if they stay here, like if Bray buys in and then keeps them here, which I would not be surprised to see Dubai honouring some incentivised silks before the end of the order, mate. They can take a while to sort of come back up, but if they're just fresh off the plane, mate, they're a bit of sun on their back.
Well, El Bodegon would be a prime example.
Perfect example, El Bodegon. Shit, what do you do there? Chris Waller, mate, you got to
sell him back.
Yeah, buy-ins, not buying into that one.
So on raw times and figures, I think they went out, as comparing it to the Rosehill Guineas, they went out virtually the same. Last 600, I think they beat them home by about 5 lengths. So they have smashed the clock here.
And this is why I didn't back. I was happy to risk Gold Trip because they went at a breakneck speed, his prior race, which allowed the likes of Gold Trip to come home really strongly. Whereas this race was always going to be a sit and sprint. See, I fucking know what I'm talking about, drifters, sometimes. Doesn't mean I pick the winner.
All right. George Ryder. 1,600 back to 1,500. Barrier 11 of 11. And he's still too fucking good.
3 wide the trip, mate.
All right. Hold that thought. I want to read you a tweet that I did about the race.
Okay.
And I've had some very positive feedback. So,
nothing like positive reinforcement.
Going to trumpet myself here because it was about the only thing I got right all day. I had the privilege of reading the script of the race prior to it happening.
This is your tweet, okay? Yeah.
The champ runs on pace, 3 wide, no cover, and he still gets the job done.
Oh, you were dead right. He's good, isn't he?
Sensational.
Yeah, he's just good, isn't he?
Let's watch it.
He's just good. All
right.
Yeah.
So J-Mac jumps here. Widest barrier. Can't get a spot.
Guess who's on Osipenko?
Nash.
Keeping him out. Hot Nash. Like, nah, you ain't coming in here, bruh.
Yeah. But he had nowhere to go either. Converge ran extremely well.
Yeah,
I
he
thought.
did. Yeah, he did.
So here he is, 4 wide, no cover. Gets a spot here, but
Gets sort of pushed out again.
yeah, probably gets pushed out again.
Well, he's the hunted in the race, right?
Yeah. There he is there, 3 wide, no cover, probably midfield.
Yeah.
So about 600 to go. Just, he's not getting into his work yet.
No.
But
When Artorius was that close, I was like, geez, he could storm home, but
here he goes. Just blends into the race beautifully. Osipenko took him into the race as much as he needed to. And then J-Mac just hasn't touched him. 300 to go. Here he goes. Took a bit of riding to get him done, but I was expecting that at the 1500.
yeah.
Took a fair bit of the straight to run down Converge, and then look at Fangirl here. And Artorius back on the inside.
Yeah, he's flying this prep, Artorius. You're dead right. But look at this now. So that they're 100 metres past the finishing post, and he's stopped running because he knows it's over. He's like, well, I don't need to do it anymore.
He's a stud.
He's a stud. He's a stud. J-Mac called him sexy. He's sexy, mate.
He's sexy.
He's like, yeah, that'll do. And he's like, Fangirl, I'll see you next year. But I'll be breeding, and you'll be my cover. He's a phenomenal racehorse, mate, and salivating at the thought of the Queen Elizabeth, with the likes of Dubai Honour and a whole stack of other foreign horses going against him. So he'll need to stand up there and win so that he can go over to Royal Ascot with confidence.
I agree. I have a ticket in the Queen Elizabeth for Unicorn Line at $56. So he's now 15s, which is superb shopping by me.
Great shopping.
But it's probably irrelevant now because honestly, I think he's a better miler than a 2,000 metre horse.
Mo.
Yeah, and I love the prep where I think the stable know that as well. And they're like, he's got 1 2,000 metre run in him. So that's why they went there instead of the Ranvet. And because they're probably lucky they didn't take him to the Ranvet.
Yeah, I tell you what, like, Dubai Honour, there's not much beating him in that race.
Nah.
But yeah, I agree with you, mate. I think he's just dominant mile type. Because he's got that sprint in his legs.
The Wings prep. 16 back to 15. Cherry right for the 2,000. Yeah, it's going to be one of the races of the autumn. Golden Slipper now. This is one of the worst watches you'd ever hope to see.
Yeah.
Well, you tell me about your thoughts. So, Learning to Fly and Chad Schofield are both fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah. Mate, like my 2 horses in the race were Cylinder and Learning to Fly. I actually had bets on both of them, which is unusual to have. Like, they were in my betting strategy, both of them. But I was like, I think one of these horses wins, right? So, as soon as they left the gates and she missed the jump, I was like, well, she's not Fireburn, you know. Like, I'd want her to be midfield. And then she just didn't look comfortable in the run, mate. So I don't know if the heat got to her or something was up. But
she landed up clipping heels with Lil Bros.
Lil Bros.
At about 700 when Chad was like getting her back under her feet, level pegging or whatever. And then he just jumped off.
Yeah.
Shifted sideways. She jumped off. She was fine. But, yeah, wrecked Lil Bros' run as well.
Yeah.
But he apparently he wasn't travelling in the run either. So a lot of them, I think, just came to the end of prep.
Yeah. So Oh mate, yeah, it was disappointing. You got a feel for Annabelle Nation, and for Chad Schofield, but these things happen in racing, mate. It was just a bit unlucky. And then Cylinder, loomed. I was like, I'm home here, and then Ryan Moore on the inside on another Coolmore thing. Shinzo
So it didn't go around another horse on the rail.
No.
Peach
Drew Barrier
Ride.
won.
I think it was overplayed by the jocks with the rail being off. The rail was fine.
Yeah.
Ryan Moore just peach of a ride. But with Cylinder, he was my default in the race. He's the one I went back to in my on-top selection, just because he beat.
He had the Silver Slipper Todman Stakes for me.
But he's extremely good, but he wasn't brilliant. You know how some of these 2-year-olds, they just have this brilliant wins. So learning to fly in the Millennium, yes. Shinzo in the Pago, yes.
Steel City, put him to the
Steel
sword.
City, end of prep last. I think it came for her. And I thought Red Resistance has shown that brilliance as well. What I did find really interesting, delving into basically the top three. So Tommy Berry, before his suspension, did you see his video? First time he got on the back of this thing.
Shinzo
said, "This is the best colt I've ever ridden." That was back in October or so.
Jeez.
So he didn't start his prep or start his racing career until this year, but he was trialing back in end of October.
Yep.
Put away in the paddock for 2 months. So he's effectively had 2 preps. And he had the 4 or 5 weeks in between his first up run when he got rolled as the favourite, maybe against Cylinder that day. So I think there's a thing to take away there. So he's basically had 2 preps. Cylinder broke his jaw before Christmas, and he came back. He's in his second prep. King's Gambit, the exact same. Don Corleone was in his first prep. So he's the one who potentially has the most scope.
King's Gambit impressed me. He sweated up massively.
Mate, he's a fucking nutcase.
Yeah, he's a nutcase.
Lizzie Jelfs, I've never seen her that rate a horse that aggressively. She's like, there's no way this thing can win, because she just goes you can't parade like this and win a race.
Yeah.
So he needs to figure it out, and the heat on the day wouldn't have helped.
Yeah, wouldn't have helped. No.
So but yeah,
that's a good theory. So you want your well educated. They've been around the traps. Yeah,
which a lot of them probably are, right?
Yeah.
But I love to see them have that early prep spelled, come back again as well. Which Red Resistance didn't really fit that profile, but he had that 5-week break, and he would have gone to the paddock, freshen up. He would have been ready to go if he didn't have hay fever or fever on the day.
That's a real shame, mate. Shinzo, look, I've backed him every start except for the grand final. I was really impressed with his win in the Pago, like everyone else was. But I was just like, well, if he needed to win this to get into the slipper, he's going to have to be brilliant to win. And he was. Chris Waller's first golden slipper, because he's not a typical 2-year-old trainer. But I don't know if he'll keep going with the prep. I know Chris Waller's conservative trainer, but if he's in size produce, mate,
who beats him? I'm looking at the ones who finished maybe Cafe Millennium, because he's the one that's been kept back, but he was poor at the start prior. But he's probably suited at that Ranvet track. He's probably the one that's completely different form lines that I probably want to be on.
Who's the thing that bypassed the Golden Slipper as well, who ran last Saturday and won really nicely? I think it's like a Graham Begg horse or something like that, or a Mike Mulroney horse.
Mahabra.
No, not Mahabra.
Because that's who Shinzo beat.
No, it was. I think the race was actually down in Melbourne. Run the 1400.
Yeah. Yes.
V8.
V8. Yes.
V8. He's a horse with a lot of ability, but he might just still be trying to figure things out for the produce. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was. I didn't find Shinzo, but I certainly, wasn't like, oh, no way, when he won the race. Do you know what I mean?
I felt the exact same. I was like, well, if I think this thing can win the sires, I'm not going to say he can't win this.
Yeah, yeah.
I just didn't want to be on him in this race. So it's like I saw him win. I'm like, oh, fair play, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yep.
The Galaxy, fuck me dead. Maria Mia, you're kidding me. Gone from a benchmark 88 to a Group 1 win in 4 runs.
Jack Prism, mate. Oh, that trainer, I tell you what.
I can't.
No, I never would have found her.
No.
Never.
Yeah.
Not in a million years.
No.
Word has it that there's still a wall of horses in front of us for her.
Oh,
I was dirty watching that.
yeah. After you said that, I went back and had a look. She got going. She was humming.
She was humming.
Yeah.
Would she have finished over the top of Maria Mia? I don't think so. But I think she would have ran second. I think she would have gone past Uncommon James for the weight swing.
Yep.
So after the slipper and then because the All-Star Mile ended up being after the slipper. So after the disappointment of the slipper and then the euphoria of the All-Star Mile and then the disappointment of the Galaxy, I was like, this is horse racing, isn't it?
Because we were still alive in the quaddie at this point. And then I think we had second, third, fourth, probably fifth.
Yep. Feel for our friend Josh McClelland. He had a 6 or 7 leg multi. He just needed Aspera to place to get a 4-figure collect, a significant 4-figure collect. So that would have been a very tough watch for him because I only had eyes for her, and she couldn't get out. I can't be too dirty at Jai there. Like could he have swung her out earlier or inside earlier, showing some initiative? But he had nowhere to go, man. That is what it is.
Yeah.
I've just figured out that unfortunately I just can't back any horse that he rides because I can't find him.
I'm like that with Damien Lane. When I'm on the things that he rides, they never win.
Yeah.
And then when I jump off, he'll get Gin Martini home. And it's like, come on, man. What are you doing?
Come on, man.
So Uncommon James, he said after the race, he's like, sensational run, which it was. It was good. He was up on pace. He was doing it the hard way. He just didn't want to take that initiative himself, i.e. the horse, and go through the gaps when they appeared. So it's like he's just still immature.
Yeah, he's only 7 or 8 starts, man.
Yeah, so I think he's up for more improvement if they get that, education into him. And I think that only really comes with like racing, right?
Yeah.
And he's so lightly raced. So I think he's run super.
Would love to see him in a Doom 10,000 on home soil. Would love to see that.
Yeah, gut feel. I reckon they'll just pull up stunts for the spring or something. I don't know.
Try and get an Everest slot.
Yeah, I reckon.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I have no idea. Cannonball was fantastic.
Faster than a cannonball. Yeah, well found by you, Hutch. It was good. 3-year-olds, mate.
Yep. They're proving it time and time again. All right. Let's get on to the rest of the races. So we'll start with 3-year-olds on the day. Mooney Valley, Typhoon, Tracy, Parasail.
Well found by yours truly. She was great. She just led and was like, okay, I'll win.
Yeah.
Like, just so easy. She's a horse with some ability. I've got a lot of time for that filly. By a stern as well, just like Aft Cabin. Mm-hmm. Golden Miles by a stern. So he's a promising young sire for Godolphin. She's good filly.
Yep. After my 2 roughies got scratched, I just legged up right behind you on the saddle.
Come with me.
Yeah. So, different form lines, too good for the Melbourne fillies. Mate, she absolutely crawled that last 200.
Yeah, she did, yeah.
She didn't want to be there.
She was drifting out as well.
So,
laying out.
She went from 1100 up to the 1200. I think that finds her out.
Yeah.
So
she's a sprinting filly.
Yeah, so 1000, 1100, maybe, in due course, in the fullness of time, maybe like a Moore Stakes or something.
100% what I was thinking, yeah.
Yep. The Alister Clark Stakes, Bankmore. Now, he's...
Fucking hell, honestly.
So...
That was a terrible, terrible race to watch.
When we get things wrong, Declan, what I try to do is like find a reason how I've missed this thing, right?
Mm.
In reflection, he's finished ahead of Amenable, who was my on-top selection. In his 3 career victories to date, 4 now, or maybe it includes the 3. I think it's 3 including that one. He's settled in the first 4 of running, which he did again at Mooney Valley. He's only missed I think he's only failed once when he sat in the first 4 and in the running. And that was at Eagle Farm when that track can claim a horse or two.
Oh, gee whiz, it can. Graveyard for some ponies.
So I think that's something that I've kind of like learned out of the races. Like, all right, if you kind of map a horse in a certain way, which I didn't really because he's been slow out this prep, but he's stepping out to that distance. He's by Maurice. Like, he could have just... Yeah, it's just something that we missed.
Yeah. Stinky race. I don't want to think about it.
Amenable, I think Bradley was right. I think he's a big track horse. I thought he was done 300 from home. Then he actually found the line okay.
My horse, Dunkel, he flopped out the gates and it was game over from there. I had enough time because I was going so slowly to text the boys being like, what to do? He was never going to win that race, Dunkel. Sake. Oh, well.
The Darby Munro. Now, Opal Ridge. Sensationally found by you.
Oh, through the widest gate, $14 with the good people at Ned's. Take my money. It was a good collect, mate.
It was
great collect.
Yep.
She's just a good filly, mate. I was keen on her in that race where she got scratched, where Benedetta won. Yeah, she's just a really good filly, and she's from a smaller stable, so she's disrespecting the market.
Yep, 100%. Quickest of the 1,200 metres races on the day at Rosehill. So she has run sensational time. Weight relief, sure, but she still had to put him away like that. She nearly beat him by 2 lengths.
From the wide gate, just pierced through him. As soon as she found that gap, bang.
And you look through her profile, she typically races on speed, so there's some versatility there. She has that will to win. And you look through her form, she's beaten home Pericles, albeit, it's probably a
different time in their lives.
Yeah, different time in their lives. He's probably a 1,600, 2,000 metre horse. But she also beat Economics, who was like one of the hotter prospects. Oh, she ran second to Economics, sorry. When he was like, not a nutcase.
So that race, I backed him to beat Opal Ridge, and he did. And when he won that race, I was like, he could be my Coolmore horse. And then his next start, he just decided that he didn't want to go into the gates. And ever since then, he's been a bit of a nut job. So Annabelle's got a task on her hands there, or he's going to get his nuts clipped.
We've seen it before. All right, for the older horses, so unfortunate thing of the day. So in the Abell Stakes, there was another fall in Melbourne, which is just puts a dampener on it when you're watching it. It just makes you feel yuck. As like such a supporter of the sport, really hate to see it because you hate the jockeys being put in that position, the horses as well, but then the optics from it is just...
It's horrible.
It's horrific especially when, unfortunately, the horse Fluorescent Star had to be humanely euthanized as well. Then you think of T.O. Nugent, he's got a fractured vertebrae. Now, Ben Mellum, not to get too down the rabbit hole here, but obviously he's been affected by these falls more than most because Ethan Brown's a good mate of his. Jamie Carr's obviously his partner. Ben Mellon tweeted this out last night. The elephant in the room needs to be addressed. Victorian workload on racing participants is far too high. Turnover and revenue is important, but not at the expense of people's lives. Fatigue kills. Hopefully 3 near-death experiences in 3 weeks is enough.
Jeez, that's bold.
So he's basically going like, cash is not king. You need to stop putting on as many races and have that much workload for the participants.
So for the jockeys, yeah, okay.
Because, and it's hard to say, right? Because we're just two supporters of the sport who have a flutter every now and then. We don't know the answers, but from our view, it's just we don't want these incidences happening because we love the animal too much and we respect the riders too much that we want everyone to be as safe as possible.
100%. He's got a point in terms of there's no days off, mate. If you're in the game, it's not a job; it's a lifestyle. If you're a jockey, if you're a trainer, strapper, you ride track work or whatever, it's a way of life because you're not having the Sunday off and chilling. No, there's work to do. The horses still exist. There's still work to be done. So yeah, I could imagine that fatigue would play a role, mate. It'd have to. These jockeys, waste away and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. He's made a valid point, and yeah, obviously it's coming from a bit of an emotional place at the moment, but valid point.
I agree. So our thoughts are with the family and with Tio as well, and the connections of Fluorescent Star. You never want to see that. So
Yep.
The Manion Cup. Now, Timor, this was a 2,400 metre race. This was the race that I think you tipped the last place horse and I tipped the second last place horse. But we said prior to the race, don't follow us here because it was just, I had no clue.
I don't even have a bet in this race.
Me neither. The Manion Cup, Timor won, who hadn't won in a very long time. Chris Waller. So J-Mac actually rode this thing when he was over in Royal Ascot, over 4,300 metres.
So it's a stayer. Holy dooly.
Yeah.
This thing's heading to a Sydney Cup, surely.
Yeah, it is. Well found by you.
That's a classic. That's a classic Chris Waller Sydney Cup type horse. So
yeah,
he'll pop up at a big price.
Yep. So
fucking hell.
Yep. So well done if you found the Bumblebee Timor. The Epona Stakes now. Pink Ivory is on the verge of us never seeing each other ever again.
Oh, jeez.
She flopped out of the gates. Slow away.
Had work to do.
From that perfect draw, I was hoping she'd be forward to midfield.
Yep.
Just wasn't meant to be. And then
the money was coming for her too, mate.
Yeah.
The money was coming for Pink Ivory. But of course, it's the other Johnny Sargent horse, Jim Martini, that wins.
Yep.
She was travelling well.
She's good.
She is good. Yeah, she's
good.
Do you reckon there's an Oaks horse in that race? Not an Oaks horse, sorry. What's the race I'm thinking of? Not a Tancred or anything like that. Maybe a Sydney Cup. I don't know.
I think it'd be a Sydney Cup. So Jim Martini's won out to the 2 mile. So I think I was happy to risk her because of that. I was like, oh well, surely that's the grand final. But she's good enough to, do the job there. Not much to add here. And then the last race on the card in Sydney was the Birthday Card Stakes, one of the worst named races of all time. Nothing was beating Zapateo.
No, nothing was beating Zapateo. Out of the Oakley Plate, where she was okay, and back to her own sex. Yeah, so stupid that I didn't find her.
Yeah,
but I couldn't jump off Jalay. She ran pretty well.
She ran well, but she was not beating Zapateo.
No, she wasn't.
Zapateo's not one of mine, but agreed. Like there were some pretty decent judges actually backing Zapateo in that Oakley Plate.
Yep.
Not us.
No.
But I think we ran second and third in that race.
Yeah.
So you could say on that particular day in that particular race we were better judges.
We were better judges than the experts, so-called experts. Come talk to me.
Polisipan. No real excuses. Maybe the weight. Maybe first up.
Yeah, I wasn't too keen on her in that race.
Yeah.
To be honest, a lot of better judges than us were though.
Like she was $6 into $4 second favourite. Like the market loved her. She just wasn't near it. Potentially the weight, first up maybe. I don't know. And that puts a bow on a hell of a day of racing.
Huge day.
Very, very big day. So for the Group 1 strategies, I think you finished $50 down.
Could have played that better.
Yep. For me, I finished about $100 down, which is consistent. And then, the Drifters about the same, $100 down. So there will be a new slot open for the Drifter, the big-time Drifter, for their $100 strategies.
What do we got next week?
Australia Cup.
Yep.
The Vanity.
Yep.
Already know my pony in that. Here's one for you. So be it. Pavitra, Caulfield Cup, bet on her now. She's $61. If she comes out and blows them away like she did at Kembla, she will not be that price.
No.
In that race. So jump on during the week. Why not?
It's good shopping.
J-Mac is suspended for next week, so there needs to be a new rider for Prowess, who's the very smart New Zealand filly.
That's right.
So that'll be interesting. And it's not the Tancred next week?
I think it might be.
Let's have a look real quick.
I think it might be. So I found it odd that the Australia Cup was on the same day as the Tancred.
It is.
So what do we got?
So
Aussie
we have
Cup.
the William Reid next Friday night.
Billy Reid.
So we typically want to do a live stream for that, but we have another Bucks party. So
Oh, shit. Yeah, we got the Lions versus D's. Oh, that could be ugly.
fuck. Mate, I've looked at the Lions draw.
Not good.
They're probably not getting a win now till round 5.
Oh, that's a shame.
William Reid on Friday night, the Australia Cup, Tancred, and the Binary. So, and then we're day 1 of the championships. Comes around quick.
Sure does. Yep. And then the next day I'll be a married man. Shit. Here we go again. All right.
That's about it.
It's good hustle.
Yep. Thank you again, Drifters. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Onwards and upwards.